What's going on, you guys? This is Aaron from Untitled Capital, and welcome to the video. In this video, we had the pleasure of interviewing the CEO of the Very Good Food Company, Mitchell Scott, on the future of his company and the industry. The Very Good Food Company produces plant-based meats and foods catering to this global industry that has tons of growth potential, so we'll let Mitchell take over. Before we dive into this though, guys, the last thing I need to ask is if you do support me in the channel and all the videos, then kindly explode that like button along with if you are a new viewer. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe yet, but you appreciate constant daily updates, then don't forget to cash that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. Let's get straight into this awesome interview. What's going on, guys? This is Aaron from Untitled Capital. We're here with Mitchell Scott, CEO of the Very Good Food Company. How are you doing today, Mitchell?
Good, man. How about you?
Good. Excited to have you on here talking about your company. You know, you're in a really awesome industry. As we know, this global illness has changed so many industries. You guys are in the food business with a lot of things going on, a retail location, butcher shop, you guys wholesale to major chains and do online sales, along with running this newly listed stock. So what's your schedule like? And do you think there are opportunities in this crisis for entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty hectic. I mean, since going public, it's almost like we have like a second company to run. And in order for the public company to be doing well, the main company has to be doing well as well. And obviously, I like to spend as much time as possible, working on the main company and operations. I think there is a ton of opportunity. We were lucky, kind of going into COVID, in that we'd been selling online for a couple of years. We had a customer base, and we kind of just pivoted a little bit. So we invested more heavily in e-commerce. We brought on a really good marketing partner. Additionally, our grocery store sales really took off. Everybody kind of stocking up for the pandemic. Yeah. Obviously, our retail butcher shop slowed down a little bit. So we reduced our hours, put some extra sanitation procedures in place. But we've been able to stay open throughout the pandemic and actually have record-breaking sales throughout it.
That's awesome. So, in your industry, which is the meat replacement plant-based foods industry, your world revolves around finding customers that want a protein experience without getting it from animals. Now, I know it's all about texture and taste, right? So how's the process like with trying to find something customers will love?
Yeah, absolutely. So you nailed it, like texture, taste. So luckily my business partner, James, is a classically trained French chef. Well, he's actually British, but in French cuisine. So he's been cooking for about 13 years. So has a really, really keen understanding of flavor. So he did all of our initial product development, and it just created a range of products that people really, really enjoy.
That's great. So how much R&D is involved with, finding good taste, good texture?
Yeah, so it depends on the product. Like for the first two products he came up with, our burgers and our sausages, I think it took him a few weeks. Now it really depends. Sometimes it'll take him a month to really nail that flavor and texture. Sometimes he'll get lucky and get it done in a day or two. We've also recently, about a year ago now, actually brought on a dedicated R&D team, kind of working on the next generation of our products. So we're working on a gluten-free product line and a little bit more kind of realistic, I guess you could say. So we've got about 4 R&D scientists working out of our Vancouver offices now.
That's awesome. Lots in the pipeline. So you're the CEO of a Very Good Food Company. As you know, lots of potential investors or people interested in the stock watching right now. So can we talk a little bit about the origins of the company, and the timeline until today?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're in Victoria, British Columbia, west coast of Canada. We actually got our start a few hours north of here. There's a little island called Denman Island, about 1,000 people. It was the summer of 2016. My business partner at the time, well, this is before I met him. So James was living on this little island. He'd recently moved there. He turned vegan. And there's not really any restaurants on Denman. There's nowhere for him to really work or cook. So he decided to get a little bit entrepreneurial. He missed the taste of meat. And he felt like a lot of the options out there were just kind of super processed, full of garbage. And he wasn't really happy feeding them to his family. So he tried his hand at making the products, came up with the burgers and the sausages I mentioned before, took them to the local farmer's market, and they sold out in a couple of hours. It was like, wow, that was great. So that summer of 2016, he spent, during the week, him and his wife would make these products in their kitchen. They'd take them to the farmer's market, and they sell out every weekend. So it was that summer at a family barbecue, I actually got a chance to try the products. So me and James are actually distantly related. My sister is married to his wife's brother, so we're step brothers-in-law once removed or something like that. But I tasted the products and I was blown away. So I'd grown up vegetarian. I'd had a lot of, not very good burgers growing up. And I was like, wow, these are great. So I approached him. We kind of decided to team up and see where we could take this. Our first event together was a little Christmas market in Victoria. Victoria is kind of the next big city from this island. So we drove up there with some coolers, set up at a little table. I had a couple hundred people show up and buy our meat, and we sold out over a 2-day period. We posted on a little Facebook group for plant-based people, and they came out. While we were there, we noticed they had a full-time retail space available. So it's kind of like a giant indoor market food court. And anyways, the market manager approached us and said, hey, your stuff's really popular. We want to check out one of these retail spaces. We kind of just decided to go for it. About 2 months later, we opened the first vegan butcher shop in the west coast of Canada. We had about 1,000 people show up at our opening day. We actually had to shut down for a week after that just to restock everything.
Wow.
So ever since then, we've just been kind of struggling to keep up with our demand for our products and scale and grow the business. We launched a Kickstarter campaign, raised about $64,000 from about 700 different people across North America. We moved into additional production facility. We appeared on Dragon's Den. We did a front funder, which is like an equity crowdfunding round. Expanded our production facility. So we've got a dedicated production facility now. And our whole concept is that kind of a traditional butcher shop. So you come in, you get your meats, your cheeses, everything is very kind of artisan, handcrafted. We have a fast casual restaurant here that highlights our products, basically as a marketing tool for our brand. So that's burgers, deli sandwiches, plant-based comfort food. That's the premise. And then more recently, we raised a round of funding, and then we did our IPO, I guess, about a month and a half ago. And that's kind of helped really accelerate our growth. So now we've got an R&D team in Vancouver. We've recently leased a facility there, so we'll be expanding our production there, and really just continuing to grow.
It's amazing the demand that there is for it and the community, like you said. So where do you see the company in, let's say, 12 to 24 months?
Yeah, absolutely. And just, I guess, to quickly go back to our kind of brand and what we stand for, just really high quality meat alternatives. So a clean ingredient deck. Everything's made out of beans, veggies, herbs and spices, a bit of wheat flour to bind it all together. And then the kind of traditional stuff you'd see in the butcher shop. So burgers, sausages, ribs, taco stuffer, a whole kind of range of plant-based alternatives. So yeah, we've got big plans for the next, 1 to 2 years. The big one I kind of hinted at is that Vancouver facility. So we've signed a lease on a 10,000 square foot facility. It's going to be a combination. So it's going to be production. It's going to be butcher shop restaurant. It's going to be an R&D lab, test kitchen, kind of like a big HQ for us. Hoping to have that online kind of Q2 of next year. So that's the big thing we're focusing on right now. We're also looking at opportunities south of the border for increasing our production. I mean, we've had a ton of demand there and interest in our products. So I think that the next 2 years, the big focus is kind of capturing the North American market in kind of our 3 main channels. So that's online e-commerce. So we ship across North America. We have a monthly subscription box we send out to people, and you can also order one off. We have our wholesale retail. Currently, we're available in BC and Alberta in about 200 stores. And we've got, many more on the waiting list. It's just we have to scale up our production. And then the third channel is the restaurant butcher shops. Obviously, that's kind of on the back burner right now due to COVID. But long term, we see that as more of a flagship store model. So, maybe we set one up in Toronto, Montreal, New York, LA, kind of have these hubs to kind of promote the brand and kind of help power our other offerings.
Very exciting. It's amazing how far you guys have came in just a couple of years. So we're going to talk a little bit about numbers, if that's all right. So first, is it true the 2 co-founders hold 33% of the outstanding shares?
Yes, roughly. It's around 33%. So that's myself and my co-founder, James.
Awesome. So your Victoria facility produces about 8,000 pounds of, and it will triple to 24,000 pounds in the coming months?
Yeah, so we've recently, actually about a week and a half ago, we've implemented this new production schedule where we're just focusing. Previously, like we have so many products, right? We're making, 6 products in a day. And obviously there's a cleaning procedure in between each one. So it's really kind of slowing things down. Now we're just focusing one, and we're doing a ton of it. We're doing like 10 batches a day. We brought on a graveyard shift. We're really scaling up production. And yeah, absolutely. That's correct in terms of numbers for the next, couple of months.
Awesome. And then for your Vancouver facility, it's designed to produce 100,000 pounds per week. Is that true?
Yes, correct. And the main reason we're able to produce more out of it's a bigger space, but we're also bringing in more automation, more equipment. Our Victoria facility is a little bit limited just in terms. It's an old bakery, so there's some power limitations, there's space limitations, and whereas the Vancouver one is a big empty shell, so we can really custom design our production line to maximize efficiency.
Yeah, so that's like a 18-fold production increase in
Yeah.
Canada alone. Is demand that big?
It absolutely is. So we're actually having to limit orders online right now. Um, like we think we could grow that business to $2 to $3 million a month relatively easily just online. So for wholesale, we're only in 200 accounts. Obviously there's thousands just in Canada. But what we're seeing is really strong same store sales. So we've got stores that'll order like 100, 120 cases a week, and we're actually having to short them because we don't quite have enough product for them yet. So we just have to kind of juggle those two channels. But I'm absolutely confident we can that there's going to be a place to sell all that product to.
That's amazing. Demand's truly amazing. So
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about the stock and your recent round of financing. So accredited investors, millionaires, institutional money, they paid about $1.30 per share and got a $2 warrant. That means they can only profit if the stock's safely over $2. It's currently around $1.40. So what did these sophisticated investors see that got them so excited? And what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I think, and actually, can I just backtrack just a little bit to like before our IPO, if you don't mind, and then I kind of walk you through if you got a couple minutes. So I think what I like most about how we did the IPO is we did this crowdfunding round first. So that was an equity front funder round, and basically it was all of our customers investing in us. We raised about 600,000 from 250 or so investors across Canada. So it was our customers, our family, our friends. And so when we went to the IPO round was priced at 25 cents a share. Their investment converted at about 12.5 cents a share. So I'm really happy that with our IPO, instead of just kind of institutional money, making their money first, it was our customers that had that really great kind of return. Moving on though, so we did the IPO round at 25 cents, raised about 4 million. Then a few weeks ago, we closed a bought deal for just under 10 million. It'll be up to 15 once the warrants kick in. I think it was so 8.2 and then up to 15. And that, as you said, that was at $1.35, $1.40 with a $2 warrant.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the people that invested in that, obviously they'd seen the great initial results, but I think they just see that, we have this pent up demand. So really the main challenge for us, and it is a big challenge, is scaling up operations, scaling up production. And now we have the capital in place to do that. So we've started really building out our team, bringing in some specialists in these areas. We've got money in the bank to get the equipment we need, to get the facilities we need. So it's a matter of operations execution. So I think that's what really got them excited. And then also I think just the space in general has a ton of room for growth. You see reports coming out all the time. Market's growing like crazy. And there's also very limited, in terms of public company, there's one other kind of public company that IPO'd, and then there's one or two other smaller ones that did an RTO or something. So there's very limited opportunities for the public to invest. And I think the other piece is just the amount of retail interest we've had. So we have a large customer base following on social media. We have a really kind of big community that's supporting us. So I think those are maybe a few of the things that interested those investors.
Just to add to that, I feel like this is one company that will really appeal to millennials, and we know that millennials are just driving this market right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. So how are the two Dragon's Den investors feeling about the whole thing and not pulling the trigger earlier?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I kind of was tempted to send one of them a quick note, but I held off. I think for them, a lot of them, they see so many deals, right? So it's hard, and they're not necessarily going to invest in every single one of them. They might do 20 handshake deals, but then only end up going for a couple of them. But I mean, they're probably kicking themselves. I don't know.
No, for sure. So where should our viewers go to get more information about the company?
Yeah, so currently the best place is you go verygoodbutchers.com. So that's got all our products, info about the company, and then there's an investor resources page on there as well, which has our deck and some additional information. And then in the coming weeks, we'll be rolling out a website for the Very Good Food Company as well.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Mitchell. It's a really exciting industry. I'm excited to cover the company, and hopefully we can have you back on.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks a lot. It was great talking to you.
All right, guys, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Drop those comments below. Let me know what you think, and always remember Departures Capital is for information, education, and entertainment purposes only. Don't buy or sell a stock because you heard it on here. Buy or sell a stock because you've done your research, you've done your thorough due diligence, and you're making your own personal investment decisions for yourself. This video is not financial advice. We'll see you guys in our next video.